Hello, I'm Dan Harris, Chief Operating Officer at the CE Shop. As educators, we believe real estate agents have the opportunity and an obligation to contribute and help grow their communities through their work. This leadership responsibility is why it is so important that agents be well versed and follow the protective laws of the Fair Housing Act. The Fair Housing Act protects people from discrimination when they are renting or buying a home, getting a mortgage, seeking housing assistance, or engaging in other housing-related activities. This means that housing choices should not be restricted based on one's protected class. Federal fair housing laws prohibit discrimination based on 7 protected classes: race, color, religion, national origin, sex, familial status, and disability. Many states and local jurisdictions have their own additional protected classes. Check with your state real estate commission or your local government for more information. The Fair Housing Act is a common name given to Titles 8 and 9 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 that grew out of the Civil Rights Movement. It was signed into law by President Johnson on April 11, 1968, 1 week after the assassination of MLK Jr. The original Fair Housing Act lists out 4 protected classes, but was later amended by Congress. In 1974, as part of the Housing and Communities Development Act, sex was added as a protected class. Again, in 1988, the Fair Housing Amendment Act included people with disabilities and families with children. For some additional information on fair housing laws, here's Gary Large from North Central Jersey Association of Realtors.
In some states, New Jersey included, which is where we're talking today, there are state laws. New Jersey has a law against discrimination that actually is stricter than the federal law. So for us in New Jersey, I tend to focus when I train on the state law, because if we're maintaining the standards of the New Jersey law, we're fine in the federal law's parameters. And in the area of housing, we today have 13 protected classes. Both the federal and the state law prohibit steering people to or away from areas for the purposes of discrimination. And the reason that I mention it is that it can be very dangerous when a buyer prospect comes into your office and says something as simple as, I'd like to find an area with a good school system. Seems innocuous, seems innocent, and many agents will get to work and try to figure that out. And the reality is, what I teach is that, that's a potentially dangerous action for you to take to try and determine what a good school district is. Your role should be the source of information that lets the buyer prospect make their own decisions. It can be anything. I'd like a safe neighborhood. I'd like to be in an area where there's a lot of, and you pick the particular faith, religion, or whatever it may be, because that's my faith and religion. Nothing wrong with that from the perspective of the buyer, but as a real estate licensee, I can't help you with that. I can give you information, demographics, census data, whatever it may be. You go figure out where that neighborhood is, tell me where it is, and then I'll help you. I'll leave no stone unturned to find your home in that neighborhood. But for me to tell you, I know what neighborhood you're looking for, it's very, very dangerous. In New Jersey, this is a civil matter. And if you are found guilty by the courts of discrimination, the judge has the authority to assess fines. And for the first offense, the fine can be as much as $10,000. For the second, it can go up to $25,000. And for the third or more, it can be $50,000. And the judge is also allowed to take into consideration if your actions damaged the party you discriminated against. And if the judge feels that that is the case, the judge could award compensatory damages. And if they feel that your behavior was so egregious, they could award punitive damages as well. The other thing that it brings into play is the New Jersey Real Estate Commission's regulations, because they specifically prohibit discriminatory actions. And so if you are convicted in court of discriminating, then the Real Estate Commission is typically going to take action against your license. So from an economic standpoint, if your license is earning you, if it's the fact that you have a license allows you to earn a 6-figure income and that license is taken away for a year, it's a pretty expensive proposition.
The best way to protect yourself from violating fair housing laws is to be well educated on the Act and understand your ethical obligations as a real estate agent. At the CE Shop, we think it's important to educate agents on the various laws and protected classes. That's why we offer a wide array of courses covering the subject of fair housing. Diversity, your kaleidoscope of clients, breaking barriers in fair housing, sex and real estate, sexual harassment, sexual discrimination, and fair housing, assistance animals in fair housing, as well as many other state-specific fair housing courses. Knowing and acting in accordance with fair housing laws will help you grow your community and establish yourself as a leader who represents all people regardless of their protected class. By implementing these laws in your practice, you too can become an important part of building a brighter future for all.